Welcome back to Covering Corner. I'm your host, Bob. Bill is out on assignment. Today we're going to go ahead and show you how to recover an ARF, almost ready to fly. I know you've been out to the flying field and saw trim schemes that maybe didn't exactly appeal to you. We're going to show you how to remove the old covering material, prepare the airframe, and recover that model. Let's go ahead and get started. You're going to want to start with a razor blade or hobby knife and actually create a slit into the old covering material. Begin by sliding the covering material or pulling the covering material away. Try to follow the wood grain as you pull it away. Well, as you can see, we've got most of the covering removed. Now we're going to prep the surface for the new MonoKote. These little bits and pieces of remaining covering material can be removed simply by sanding them with either 320 or 220 grit sandpaper. As you can see, we've just about completed removing all the remaining pieces of covering material. As soon as we get all that done, we're going to want to take and completely clean our workshop to get rid of any dust or dust particles. Then we'll be ready for our new MonoKote. Well, as you can see, we've got this wing panel all prepared and ready for the new application of MonoKote. What we're going to want to do is cut our covering material, cut our MonoKote so that it's slightly longer and wider than the part that we're covering. Let's go ahead and do that. You can either use the part itself to help guide or judge the size of the material, or you can use a straight edge and some measurements to do that. We're going to go ahead and cut our MonoKote slightly wider than the actual surface we're covering. We're going to leave a few inches all the way around the perimeter of this wing panel. This will allow us to pull or move or have something to grab onto as we're manipulating the covering material. Let's go ahead at this time and remove the protective backing from the back of the MonoKote. We're going to position our MonoKote out over the wing panel. As long as there's a few inches all the way around, we're ready to start attaching the material. Begin by tacking the material down in the center of the wing panel and working down the spar line, or the longest length of the part. Take your time and work the iron slowly. It's also a good idea to use a hot sock. And the reason why is it'll keep from scratching the material as you're working. It just makes for a better finish overall. We're going to slowly work the material down the center and then towards the edges of the wing. We're not really shrinking it much at this point, but merely just attaching it. So our iron's set on a medium setting, around 225 degrees. You're going to want to pull just very lightly on the material to keep it tight as you're working the MonoKote in place. To shrink the material, we're going to actually have to turn the iron up to a higher temperature to really allow that material to shrink, the MonoKote to shrink nice and tight. We're going to finish trimming this last piece of MonoKote. I'm just going to run my razor blade right along that trailing edge to remove this final piece. Then we'll go ahead and we'll shrink this material down tight. Again, we're going to start towards the middle and work our way towards the edges just slightly. Be a little bit more careful with this because this can put a hole in the material if you hold the heat in one particular spot too long. There you have it. Use these steps to recover any ARF and enter it in MonoKote's 40th Anniversary Covering Contest. We want to see your creative skills. Until next time, I'm Bob. Good luck!